Dear friends of the Major TV and music lovers, today we have a very special guest with us, the international pianist and pedagogue Edna Golandsky. A little introduction. Edna, besides being a great pianist and having graduated from Juilliard School with Rosina Levine and Adele Marcus, was a student of the great Dorothy Taubman, whose teaching project she carried on all over the world. In June 2003, Golandsky and senior faculty members, previously affiliated with the Taubman Institute, formed the Golandsky Institute, which is the leading center for the study, advancement, and dissemination of the Taubman approach. The Institute conducts an annual symposium and festival every July at Princeton University. A warm welcome to Edna Golandsky. Hello, Edna.
Hello, Alida. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, yes. So despite the time zone, we are connected here thanks to technology, and I'm so happy to have you here because I have a lot of questions to ask you. And I would love to start from your passion and your love for the piano. How did you start to play? And when did you realize that this was going to be your profession?
Well, I started because my mother sent me to next door teacher so that I will not only play outdoors, which I love to do with my friends, but she felt that music would be important. We didn't have a piano at the time. This is in Israel, where I was born and grew up. And I started working. This is when I started learning, and I advanced quickly, apparently. And at age 16, I came to the United States to study at Juilliard at the invitation of family members. And I still did it, I would say, at that time because it was enjoyable, because I was told to do it. And I think I became passionate as I started really my studies in New York, as I was exposed to the world of music, to musicians, to dance, to orchestral music, to every aspect of music. So that was being passionate about music. I would say that staying in music had to do with meeting Dorothy Taubman. Yeah.
Absolutely. She's great as you. And as I mentioned in the introduction, after your graduation from Juilliard, you studied with Dorothy Taubman, and she's very famous, and her approach to the keyboard is incredible. Do you want to tell us more about the meeting with Dorothy?
Well, the meeting happened because my roommate, who was also a Juilliard at the time, had heard about her and was very interested in the approach, which I wasn't at the time. And she made great progress. And she just was insistent that I go and watch a lesson. So that's how it happened. Thanks to my roommate, I ended up at the studio of Dorothy Taubman observing a piano lessons of the kind I have never seen.
Yes, and I also take a look to the beautiful website of the Golandsky Institute, and where you can also make master classes, and these master classes are all over the world, and there's a lot of videos everyone can enjoy. Can you tell us a little bit more about the website? I know this is a new one.
Yes, so the Golandsky Institute, we started it in 2003. I did it because I wanted to have the work exposed more than it was before. I wanted it to be year-round, not just a summer institute. And also I wanted to train teachers and have the opportunity to certify them, which I was not able to do before. So the website is a culmination of many, many aspects. The lectures. We have streaming service, teaching, master classes, explanations, basic material, and then about 6 months ago, I also started my own ednagolandsky.com, which explains the work, also has many testimonials of solving problems of every kind, really, with well-known musicians, very accomplished, but also students. It has about 150 short and long videos that people can watch. And I will keep adding material to it. We're teaching school. We are learning and a teaching school, and we want to train, and we are training the next generation of people to carry it on and to carry it properly, and correctly.
Or absolutely, but very often, as you know, in the major TV, we're receiving a lot of letters and messages from pianists, discouraged sometimes by the methods used by teaching, and they present problems as tendonitis, lumbar, and joint pain, and sometimes they're often forced to abandon their concert career, and they also spend a lot of money in treatments. There is any little advice you can feel to giving them?
Well, the question is, we have not questioned enough, which is what Dorothy Tauman did, and did not accept it as a status quo. This is how it has to be. She started on the whole thing. Why is it happening? Because if it's happening to intelligent, to talented, to people who practice enough, what is the cause, and what is it in a virtuoso technique or in child prodigies? The fact that they can do something without knowing what it is, it's just there. And her idea was, well, if I could figure out what they're doing, maybe it would explain what people are not doing, because when virtuosos play, they're not aware of what they're doing. They only become aware if something goes wrong and the technique begins to suffer. And we don't know. We told it's psychological, we have to train the fingers more, it's all in your head, practice more, practice makes perfect, all of those things. But we do all of those things and still something doesn't happen. Well, in order to understand a problem, you have to really understand the root causes, what's causing it. And what happens is that we can't tell by what we see what's happening underneath. There's a world of motion, of positions and movements that exist under, as if someone put a microscope over the hands, which we can't do, and discovered what is underneath, what's the hidden stuff that we don't see. We think that what we see is what the technique is, but like you say, I would say high percentage of people suffer not only from pain, from tension, from fatigue, but also limitations, and they try everything, and sometimes it gets worse, exactly what you say. What she discovered, that there's some basic reasons for those things, and they're common to all of us, because we all human beings and we built the same, and whatever it is, that there's a commonality of what's causing these things. So first, her vast body of knowledge from seeing, analyzing what's happening, gives us a lot of information to diagnose and then to solve the problems. And that includes, also, first of all, getting rid of symptoms. Second of all, that opens the door to growth, because we're stuck. We don't grow more. And that explains also what is the technique for music making. Because how do we get tone? That seems to be very, mysterious still, and it's not. How do we make music move? How do we shape phrases? How do we breathe? How do we time? And it's all technical, because it's our hands that do it. So for example, if you want some of the most common causes for problems,
Yeah.
it's when you curl fingers.
Yes, and this is why I have a question for you, because off the record, I tell you, one of my problems is the fourth and fifth fingers, and I try everything, even rubber ball, and nothing happened. Help.
So exactly. So first, I would just give you a few things. One is told to curl, and the moment we curl the hands, we are pulling on a long muscle, long flexor. And look, the fingers can hardly move. And then we do exercises to move, stretching, causes, so you don't have to know anything about anatomy. You do those things and you feel tension, hard for the fingers to move.
Yeah.
Isolating the fingers one at a time, we were not meant to do things like that, twisting the hand.
Mm-hmm.
This also causes a lot, breaking the alignment, like when the wrist goes down. So what happens that a technique, just like the rest of the body, this is the body, the fingers, hand, and forearm, is the part of the body that initiates motions at the piano. It's not the whole body, but it's what plays, which is fingers, and the fingers connected to the hand. You probably read that. Now, when you know what happens with the fourth and fifth finger, you probably do the isolation exercises,
Yeah.
I imagine. Yes. Okay, so that fingers, if you want to create, first of all, equality, these two fingers have extra tendons and ligaments over them. So first of all, when they lift by themselves, and supposedly that's how Robert Schumann injured himself by doing that, they cannot lift very much because of these ligaments.
Yeah.
But when the fingers move together with the hand and the forearm, with
Mm.
motions, rotational motions,
Right.
there's, there is no limit to how much they can lift. They don't lift a lot. And when they come down, they get the support of the arm. They need the support of the arm behind them as they play. The fingers by themselves can only go so far. They can produce a lot of sound. The keys can feel heavy. But I would say that the solution to that is, and it on my website, there is a thing, how do we rotate from finger to finger? It's not so simple. My words are not so simple. We have to work with people to show how to do it and how to feel. But that is the first thing that makes the fingers all feel equally strong, including the fourth, because there are no ligaments underneath. You lift them all together and you drop them all together, they feel as strong as any other finger. So no isolation, no curling, no stretching,
Yeah,
you know.
but anyway, it's a lesson and it's very amazing. And thank you because you can illuminating us with this, method. And I have a question about Glenn Gould. As you know, we realized for the Major TV an independent documentary on the great Canadian pianist. And also, he used a particular technique teach by Alberto Guerrero by him as a Chilean pianist, and it's called finger tapping. What do you think about this technique? And also, did you ever met Glenn Gould during your career?
So it's a no to both. I don't know about that technique. I mean, I don't know if he refers. I mean, we refer a little bit when you move
Yeah.
together, the fingers come down. It's like a light tapping, but
Yes.
again, it's not isolated fingers. But I don't know really anything more. But again, it's a finger technique. It talks about the fingers, but it doesn't talk about the parts. Glenn Gould, who was, of course, a genius of a pianist, I have not met him, but I have observed some of his videos and read some of his diaries, and I have an idea he why he confronted so many problems.
Absolutely. And I know that also in your career, you trained a lot of great, amazing pianists, winner of international competitions. Do you want to tell something about them or your
So the
pupil?
question is, yeah, why did they come to me?
Yes.
Uh, Very often people come, they've tried other things, and like what you said, they didn't help
Yeah.
and they didn't solve the problem. So somehow either they heard about someone from someone, or they click on the computer very often, wrist pain, fatigue, carpal tunnel syndrome, and they get to our institute or to me. We, by the way, recommend teachers on the institute, and we have people from Italy also. We have people from all over the world who ask, and Zoom has made it, and Skype has made it possible, and COVID made it possible for us to continue, and for me to continue working with people from all over the world. So very often they come and they're kind of at the crossroad, because they're still performing, they're still managing, but they're beginning to experience pain. They begin to ice the hands. They begin to take drugs, to take away the pain. So
Yeah.
if I get them at that point, very often, it could be something as simple that I mean, it's simple but profound, that they breaking alignment, twisting of the hands, pushing very hard to get sound, which the fingers alone can't do, or the sound is very harsh. They're not getting what they want musically. So that's a moment I will concentrate exactly on that, and that gets them back on the road of what was good before, because it's not that they lose everything, but one of the problems is that they don't know what they did when they did right, and they don't know what happened when things suddenly change. So I can give them that information and get them back into connect into what was good and natural. Sometimes I get people who just say, I think I reached a certain point and I feel, and they're virtuoso pianists, and they say, I know I need more, but I feel like I hit a wall. And they want, what more can be done, and that I can offer them, so that they can become the best, go beyond even what they have done, and open the door to playing pieces they were afraid to take, that was too difficult, or how to be more secure and be able to always count on the results. When you do it right, you can always count on the result, whether it's 2 in the morning or it's 8 in the evening, and you don't have to rely on inspiration.
I also have seen that you develop the Tobin approach dedicated to stringed instruments in collaboration with the violinist Sophie Thiel. And seems to be really fundamental also to help those who play intensely in orchestras, as you said. And can you tell more about also this new approach to the stringed instruments?
Well, something I always, people from different instruments always came to me, and I always said it's a sign how there should be solutions in other instruments, the same as we have the solutions here. And while there are differences, there are many things that are very similar. So I've dealt, I would say, probably with every instrument. What happened with Sophie, the pianist that she was playing and still plays with, came to me with a very bad injury in the left hand, and I cured him, and he became very virtuosic. And she was playing with him, and he was talking about me, and she was experiencing some pain. She's a British violinist who trained with some of the best people. So they came to play for me before a performance, and then her story is on her website. She has a beautiful website, and she was talking. She was asking me some questions, and I answered them, and the problem was resolved. And she said it never was resolved before. So she asked me the reason I developed it, for string instruments, is because she asked me if I would teach her regularly. Mostly people come, I solved the problem, thank you, and that's the end of it, and that's fine. But she said, I want to learn it the same way as you teach pianists. So I said, I really don't know about string instruments, but I started with what I know is definite with it. And along with the way, I learned working with her, how to apply it to positions, to how to hold the instrument, the bow arm, how to handle the bow arm. So we worked together for 12 years. So that's how it happens, because Sophie said, would you teach me regularly? Not just help me a little bit and I'm on my way. And she's doing great. I mean, she's so I stopped working with string players. I sent them all to her, and she's been working with the orchestras and doing really wonderful work. So that's been very satisfying. Yeah.
See. Oh, well, thank you, Edna, for this beautiful interview. But before to say goodbye, I want to ask you about your next appointment and, of course, where we can find all the information about your amazing work, and then a message for our young audience of the Major TV.
Well, we haven't, since COVID, we have not done our July workshop at Princeton. We've been doing it on Zoom, and we're doing it this year, June 24th to June 26th. And we have information on the GolandskyInstitute.org. There's a registration, and we'll have people can already see. We don't have every bit of information, but there's quite a bit of information. So that's the next big thing that we're doing. And we have tapes from, other representations that people can go to. And of course, I have my own website, ednagolansky.com, that has further information very specific to the Taubman work and about Dorothy Taubman and about what I do and what the Institute is doing. So that's the place to find out and to find out what we're doing next. Yeah.
We will publish all the links and some videos on the page of the Major TV. Thank you very much, Edna. It was a pleasure and honor to have you here today. And I hope to see you soon, even here in Italy. You'll be a guest of the Major TV.
Would love to do that, and then I'll take you up on your offer. And as soon as I feel that's safe, traveling is safe, I'm going to do a lot of traveling again. Thank you so much, Alida, for being so gracious.
My pleasure.
And Alberto.
Oh, thank you very much, Edna. See you soon.
Bye-bye.